This episode of Black Guy White Movie is brought to you by Guardian Angel Clothing.
Tom Fondle.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away?
Welcome to Black Guy White Movie with your host, Maxwell Michael Towson.
Thank you for joining us on another week of the Black Guy White Movie podcast. I'm your host, Maxwell Michael Towson, and thanks for coming back for the 11th week of the nonsense. I think we're on episode 11. Let me just accept episode 11. So as always, you guys can reach out to us at blackguywhitemovie@gmail.com. If you have any questions, concerns, just want to complain about the show, whatever you want to do, you can just always reach out. This week, I'm home in Baltimore once again. Looks like I have to go to a christening, which someone is really going to have to explain to me, like, why do we have to do this every time a child is born? Like, are we just wishing good luck on the child? Is God just going to not love this child if it's not christened? Can somebody just please explain why I have to spend my Sunday? And here's the thing. So it's my boy's kid. Like, he was my roommate in college. Like, this is my guy. I love him. I love his wife. I love his kid. Well, I don't really know his kid yet. I've met his kid twice, so love might be a reach. But I love the kid through them. Let me put it that way. Like, I like the kid right now. And so my boy says, you know, come down to this christening. They send their little Evite out. Cool. Okay. Then he comes back, like, he knows I'm not really one for church. He comes back and says, oh yeah, I forgot to mention that it's going to be one of the longer services, so we might not even get out until 2 o'clock. The shit starts at noon. I don't think that's fair to anybody. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? Why are we really going to sit here for 2 hours just so they can pour some water on a kid? Like, we could do this at the house. I know somebody knows a pastor. They can pray over the water. We could have had this done in 10 minutes and then had a cookout, but whatever. That's what I'll be doing tomorrow. Anyway, so let's see what we have for the quick notes of the week. So it looks like my girl, Naomi Scott, that was the pink Power Ranger from the new Power Ranger series, well, the new Power Ranger film. She got cast as Princess Jasmine in the live-action Aladdin, so shout out to her. She'll be joining Will Smith, who'll be playing the genie. I still think it's kind of messed up that they're recasting Robin Williams, but if you're going to do it, I'll respect Will Smith enough to just, I'll let it go. I might be able to let it go. I'm not sure. Whatever. And then they're getting relative newcomer Mina Masood. I hope I'm saying his name correctly. But he's going to play Aladdin. So shout out to him because his life just got really amazing. Like his life is just perfect now. I mean, he still could mess up here and there. He could pull a Shia LaBeouf. That's about it. Like, that's the only thing he could really mess up on besides that. Don't give your family all your money. But beyond that, I mean, just follow that Dev Patel playbook and you'll be straight. So also we got photos of the production of Black Panther this week. Lupita, per usual, looks like a goddess, so we can just skip over that part. And it's a great shot of Chadwick Boseman and Michael B. Jordan sparring, where they're two characters sparring. So this movie is just going to be... I don't know what Ryan Coogler has paid to the Illuminati to just do this greatness so quickly, but he has to let me know. I mean, I pay dues now, so that's why my crew Tom Fondle has a movie coming out, but I'm not paying enough dues. If the Illuminati is just letting him do greatness this early in life, I just really got to know what payment plan he's on so I can move up to that level. Also, we have, the worst Ghostbuster in Ernie Hudson, even though... Okay, so here's my thing about Ernie Hudson and Ghostbusters. I just always wondered why he just jumped in 45 minutes into the movie. Like, they never really ingratiated him as a Ghostbuster. It was just kind of like they had an extra hand there and said, you know what, just come into the movie. Eddie Murphy's busy. We don't really have, we need a fourth person because the script calls for it, but we don't really know what to do with him. So in comes Ernie Hudson, and it's not his fault. He did everything he could to make the movie great. He played the great token black character. I was happy for him. I'm still happy anytime I see Ernie Hudson. I just worry that the younger generation just kind of sees him as the unnecessary Ghostbuster. Even in the second movie, he still didn't have a fucking storyline. Like, nobody can really explain Ernie Hudson's home life at all. I know nothing about him. I don't know what he specializes in. Like, nothing in Ghostbusters really explained anything about the character Ernie Hudson was playing. Anyway, my man Ernie Hudson is stepping into a new role. He's going to be the lead in the film called The Family Business. It's based off of a book by Carl Weber. And in the book, in the film, Ernie Hudson is going to play L.C. Duncan, who is the patriarch of the Duncan family, and he runs a thriving exotic car dealership. But of course, since it's a black novel coming to screen, they're going to have some type of aspect of the streets in it. You know, they live a dangerous life. I'm already reading the thing. By day, the Duncans are an upstanding family. By night, they live a dangerous street life. Of course, that's every black novel ever created in life that they're going to bring to screen. They're just going to immediately say, you know what? We definitely need to have a street aspect to it. Like, I feel that every black novel is a TV show Power. Like, no matter what happens, the TV show Power is going to come out in some sense. Like, the patriarch has a side woman that's not black. He has friends that he runs with that he shouldn't really trust. He wants to get out of the game, but he never can. It keeps pulling them back like Carlito's Way. Like, no matter what, these are all black novels that are street-based. Like, it doesn't matter what it's about. It's getting crazy. Like, we need to switch it up a little bit. Let's just find some common ground. Like, maybe they don't do that second street life part, but whatever. I'm gonna ride out with y'all. And also, one of the queens in the game, Taraji P. Henson, just signed on to Wreck-It Ralph Part 2. Definitely happy for her, because that's an easy check for her. I mean, all she'll really have to do, I think it's like 3 days in the vocal booth. She just does some ADR, and then she has to go out on the press roll for everything. So, well, not press roll, press run. So good for her. Like, that's an easy check for Taraji. I'm happy for her. That's greatness. I'm loving it. Let's get into the news of the week.
Tom Fondle.
Queen Ava. Well, not even Queen Ava, but Disney had their conference this week, which kind of bumps up against Comic-Con at all times, because Disney is to that point now where they pretty much just said, we don't have to go to Comic-Con with all our shit. We can have our own conference. We can do our own stuff. We can have Marvel there. We can have Star Wars there. Like, whatever we want to do as Disney, we can just do at this conference, and we don't really need anything Comic-Con related. We good over here. That's what's going on this weekend. So Disney has been dropping gems just all weekend of just everything great that they have coming up. They had a great behind the scenes thing of the next Star Wars movie. Anything they want to drop right now is Disney's world at this moment. They also dropped Queen Ava's A Wrinkle in Time trailer. And when I tell you that I was so happy to see Mama O just out here looking glorious, like, Mama O is just out here crushing the game in every way possible. Like, that, I mean, every shot of her was just Beyonce level greatness. It's just ridiculous, to be honest with you. And I'm so happy that this is dropping. I mean, the representation of minorities in this trailer is amazing. Mama Ava, I'm going to have to talk to her, because I feel like every TV show, movie, any project she does, it's always a random shot of like characters in a field. And it's always like this distant shot. Like, she just can't help herself. She always needs like characters in a field. And I need to wonder, like, on a farm or something, like, she just has to, I just got to wonder, like, why she needs this in her life so much. Like, can she hit me up and just let me know why she always needs this one shot of characters in like a farm or a field? It's just the craziest shit, but it always looks beautiful. She always finds the right balance of light and texture and everything to make the shot look great. But I just really got to know, like, why she's so fixated on this. It's almost to the level of how Quentin Tarantino is fixated on feet. Like, why do we always need this field shot in everything she does? I need to know. But I don't even know if I can play this trailer. I want to play the trailer, but I don't even think I can do that. I'm not even going to play these games with Mama Ava. Just go out and check out the trailer on YouTube. It's greatness. I'm so happy to see it. Hopefully it's going to turn out to be a dope project, and I can't wait.
Tom Fondle.
So since that NBA TV money has come in, I feel like every off season suddenly somebody gets some crazy contract that nobody expected from that player. Like every year, just somebody random just pops out with like 23, 24, 25 million dollars. And it's crazy. It's like Tim Hardaway Jr. just got paid some crazy money. And James Harden, I mean, he got the super duper max, which he deserved. But just the numbers on it was, 40, 50 a year. It's like crazy money out there. My man Tyler Perry right now is easily putting up NBA numbers. Like he just signed a deal with Viacom it's going to be, they didn't say how long it's going to be, but it's a long-term pact with Viacom to do television, film, and short film video. And he has to be making James Harden and Steph Curry money right now. It's craziness. Let's go to Watch It News for the report.
Under terms of the agreement, Perry will produce approximately 90 episodes annually of original drama and comedy series for BET and other Viacom networks. Bob Bakish, President and Chief Executive Officer of Viacom, said in a statement, "Tyler is a prolific, creative force, and I'm excited that this collaboration will bring his signature humor and powerful storytelling to Viacom's audiences while further cementing BET's position as the leading home for bold, relevant African-American programming."
Listen, man, I just gotta salute Tyler Perry. I don't care what you think about his films, the quality of them, whatever. Like his hustle, his grind, his whatever you want to call it to get that bag is ridiculous. Like this black man is out here doing things that are rarely done in this business where you're getting these major deals with these companies. I mean, Viacom owns almost everything. And so now he can just put out as many TV shows as he wants. I'm sure he'll have a lot more original content on BET. Sidebar, because BET needs it. I don't know what's going on with original programming over there, but somebody needs to have a talk with them. I know they just got rid of their head not that long ago, so they got some fresh faces over there, I'm sure, but BET, come on. You can't lean on Being Mary Jane and Kevin Hart forever. You got to start finding new things out there in the world. But hopefully Tyler Perry will be able to help with that. Like, I'm just really congratulations to this man. Like, this is an amazing opportunity, and I can't wait to see what comes from it.
Tom Fondle.
This is
Are You Dumb?
on Black Guy White Movie.
So this week on Are You Dumb, my man Deray McKesson, who I truly love dearly. Like, if you don't know who Deray is, he's a part of one of the leaders, or at least one of the focal points of the Black Lives Matter movement in the United States. And he's always out here in these streets. Like he's been a teacher in Baltimore, my hometown, or at least an educator in some sense in Baltimore, my hometown, for a while. And he's always out here with this blue vest on. Like that's his trademark. Anytime you see him, he has on this blue vest. Like that's just his thing. So this week, he ran into some shit. Like normally as a guy that's in the Black Lives Matter movement, you're going to run into some bullshit. Like that's just going to be your life. You're going to be arrested. It's always going to be some part of the normal political or entertainment structure trying to fuck with you because you're bumping up against them. Fine. This week, he fell into that Twitter trap that can happen from time to time. And I mean, just a little bit of hubris on his part as well. So this week, what happened was he saw the marketing material for the movie we're doing later, War of the Planet of the Apes. And one of the apes in the marketing material has on a blue vest. For some reason, which we'll later find out is because people put a battery in his back and said, hey, did you see that this ape has a blue vest on the poster? And I think they also had like a kid's toy as well. He decides to say, okay, well, since that is the case, fuck it. I'm going to go out here and shoot my shot And he immediately goes on Twitter and says how offended he is, how upset he is that they would even do some shit like this. And of course, this is probably the dumbest shit he could have possibly done. There's no fucking reason to ever think Hollywood cares about you that much. And Hollywood actually is an overt asshole. Like, they will come up to you and let you know that they're talking about you. They'll use your likeness. They'll use your story. They'll use your name in the shit. They don't give a fuck. They're not just going to randomly slide in a blue vest. And Queen Whoopi Goldberg decided to take Deray to task. Let's go to The View for the sound.
Prominent Black Lives Matter activist Deray McKesson accused filmmakers of personally mocking him by dressing up an ape in a blue vest, which he's been known to wear. Deray, you need to go back and watch the 1968 original and check out what the apes were wearing. This has nothing to do with you. This is a movie that was about what happens when mankind doesn't pay attention to environment, to how we treat animals and each other. That's what that movie was about. And at the end of the movie, when they're riding around and you realize it's here, that's what the movie was about. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, you had to, as D-Ray should have done, he should have just let it go there. Like, that should have been it. It should have been done once Queen Whoopi says anything about anything. You just kind of let it go. I don't even really know why they have The View, because as soon as Whoopi speaks, everybody should just agree. But whatever. D-Ray decided to go another route initially. First, he was kind of sending tweets out telling Whoopi to pull up. Not physically pull up, but he's like, I'm here if you need me type thing, which in real terms is pull up. Then he kind of backtracked and deleted the tweets, which you should do when you notice that this ain't going like you think it should be going. D-Ray, I love you. I understand sometimes when you're out here, I'm sure it was some black Hollywood dude that was like, yo, did you see this shit that's going on? Like, even Tariq Nasheed, who I think is very interesting. He has a very interesting point of view on a lot of things. Most of it's wrong, but it's very interesting, and I love that brother nonetheless. He was even on Twitter talking about, hey, do you see this? I don't even think he deleted his tweets, though. Like, that motherfucker just put shit out, and he just leaves it there, and if you believe it, you believe it. If you don't, you don't. That's just what he thinks. Cool. But D-Ray backed off of everything. I hope he apologized to Whoopi at this point. Shot her a text, whatever you gotta do. But, my man, next time, if people are saying this shit, even if you see it online, never think that you're that popping in the world for people to just be out here using, like, your blue vest as anything. Like, the original Planet of the Apes, they were rocking these blue, I mean, I want to call them, like, windbreakers or some shit. Like, whatever the fuck they were. They had, like, these dope-ass blue jackets as well on the original Planet of the Apes. And I've seen the film now, and seeing the film, you can tell, like, you would know that, like, that ape was the comic relief of everything. So when he put on that jacket, it was just, or that vest, it was really just a comic relief moment, and to differentiate him from some other apes, because that's the difficult part of those fucking movies. It's like, how are we able to tell who is who without you having some type of identifying mark? So, D-Ray, I'm sorry to do this to you, but the next time you want to do some dumb shit out here, you just gotta find some chill. But this week, I just have one question for you.
Are you dumb?
This episode is brought to you by Guardian Angel. Guardian Angel is a clothing line that expresses and promotes heaven on earth through love, God-fearing, care, passion, protection, guidance, trust, loyalty, and family. And the result is Guardian Angel. They definitely have some cool shit over there with their main emblem is like the Guardian Angel wing. So you can definitely get some dope product over there for the summer when you go out hitting the beach, wherever you're going, the club. It's great stuff over at their website, wearguardianangelclothing.com. And then you can check out some of their models, some people that I went to high school with as well, Baltimore City College. So you can check out their stuff over at IG at Guardian Angel Clothing. And now, let's get back to the show. This week, we're reviewing War for the Planet of the Apes, directed and written by Matt Reeves with writer Mark Bamback. Mark Bombat I'm going to go with. Terrible. Also, director of photography Michael Saracen, edited by William Hoy and Stan Soufis, with production design by James Chinlud. This is your spoiler alert, so just so you know, it will be spoilers coming up, so don't complain about it. As always, you guys can email us at blackguywhitemovie@gmail.com, and I may hit you back and I might not. I'm kind of getting bad at answering the emails now, but I'll definitely get to them at some point. And now let's get to the review. Hey guys, welcome back. So I can't even talk. Probably because that movie was so fucking long. But I just left the theater, just saw War for the Planet of the Apes. God, it says it was 2 hours and 20 minutes, and I felt every second of those 2 hours and 20 minutes. They weren't bullshitting with that runtime. I don't even think I can see straight right now. I'm still having trouble focusing on shit. It's craziness. But let's see. So War for the Planet of the Apes, it looks like it's in a battle with Spider-Man Homecoming right now to win the weekend. I think it won Friday, but then the Marvel hits don't come out until Saturday anyway, so we'll see what it does through the weekend. But hopefully it gets number one and makes a lot of money. I don't think they'll be making any more of these unless they just reboot Planet of the Apes overall, which is a possibility in Hollywood. They will never not reboot or remake or make a sequel of or prequel of anything. I love them for it and I hate them for it at the same time. But War of the Planet of the Apes right now has an 8.3 on IMDb. So, people think it's lukewarm. It's okay. They're feeling it somewhat. 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, so the critics love it. And Metacritic has it at 83%. So again, the critics are fucking loving this shit. It was made on a budget of about $150 million. And let me tell you, it looks like it. They use that budget greatly. When you get a close-up of the apes, or I think one of them is an orangutan. Is it an orangutan? I don't know. Close-ups of the apes in this movie, you can see every twitch of their face, every blink. I think at one point you just saw a fly crawling on. It's just, the visual effects in this movie is outstanding. Whatever the visual effects house or houses that did this movie, they are all fucking amazing. This movie just looked great. Every aspect of the movie looked wonderful. Matt Reeves definitely did his thing, shot-wise, and Michael Saracen, shot for shot, as a director of photography. I can't even think of many shots that were just out of place or didn't tell a story visually. Everything in that was quite amazing, definitely for the visual look of the movie and how everything was set. And Andy Serkis that plays Caesar, he does all the motion action and everything for Caesar, amazing. I don't even know if you can get a Best Actor for doing the motion capture stuff, but he needs a nomination for that. He crushed it. He was the focal point of the movie. Every movement was on point. I thought the best he could do was Gollum. Gollum used to scare the fuck out of me in the Lord of the Rings movies. Maybe not scare, but that was probably the creepiest little motherfucker ever in life. And he's definitely topped that. What he did with this movie, I guess just technology got better, whatever happened, but shit is fucking amazing. So let's see here. So let's get into the movie. So it's a few years now. I believe it's a few years now after the last movie, which was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, or was it Rise? I want to say it was Dawn. Let's just go with Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and let's just accept it into it. Yeah, it was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, because I believe Rise was the first one back in 2011 with James Franco. So let's say, I'm going to say Rise was the first one, Dawn was the second, and then this is the War of the Planet of the Apes. So technically this is a reboot. This is a prequel of a reboot, or a reboot of a prequel. How are we going to do this? Because it's Planet of the Apes. So the Planet of the Apes series originally, I want to say this is back in the 60s with Charlton Heston. He crushed it. That first Planet of the Apes movie was dope. After that, Hollywood became Hollywood, and just some weird shit happened with the sequels to those movies. It was just not, I don't even know what to say about these. They're just not great. Like some of those reboots was not even reboots. Like some of those movies were just super, super terrible. Like I can't even tell you how bad. I think it was Conquest of the Planet of the Apes that was just disgustingly bad. It was just so fucking terrible. That was back in, it's either 1971 or 1972. That movie is fucking terrible. And same for Battle of the Planet for the Planet of the Apes, which honestly, this movie probably should have been called Battle for the Planet of the Apes because it wasn't really a war that was happening. It was just one battle, and it would have been a dope tie-in to the old school Planet of the Apes series, but that's not here or there now. Marketing is done, and if it's up to Deray, he thinks the marketing, he's owed some marketing bucks, but let's move on from that. But yeah, so this movie is technically a prequel to a reboot because they had the Marky Mark Planet of the Apes back in the 2000s, which honestly, I enjoyed that Planet of the Apes. I know it wasn't quite to the level of like this series or the very first original Planet of the Apes movies, but Mark Wahlberg kind of crushed it in that. Like, I didn't think he was bad in it. The storyline was a little off, and whatever about the direction and pacing of the movie, whatever. But I thought Mark Wahlberg did his thing, and it's shown that other people thought that as well because he hasn't stopped working since. And I think that was one of his probably first major roles. So good for him. I definitely enjoyed that movie. So this one takes place, I want to say, a few years after Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, one of Caesar is the main ape. One of his main lieutenants named Koba kind of went against him and decided that he just was going to be out here trying to kill humans. Caesar always wanted to have some type of easy peace with with humanity, because he was raised by James Franco in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So he understands humanity. He loves humans. But this guy Koba just wasn't for that shit. He just said, look, humans enslaved me at some point. They used to beat me. They used to fuck you up too. You should be with us. And Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was just like a civil rights story of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and if they were apes, and how their stances would have worked out if they were apes. Like, pretty much Koba was Malcolm X, like, hey, by any means necessary, we need to kill the white devil who became, well, humans are the white devils in these movies. Actually, it's not many black or like actually, was it a Hispanic? And maybe in this one, there was a Hispanic guy that was one of the bad guys. But for the most part, I will say, these Planet of the Apes movies are very white with the humans. So, hey, I guess technically humans are like the white devils. But that was the main thing of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It's just like, it's these two ideologies going up against each other. Let's see who wins. Caesar came out on top, which I guess technically in reality, Martin Luther King's ideology kind of gets praised more. I mean, he was the first one with his own day that we have all for a federal holiday. So in some sense, like, technically his ideology won. And it's the same thing in that movie. So this one, now Caesar, his whole premise as a leader was always that apes don't kill apes. Like, we're always supposed to be supporting one another as a culture. And he's kind of having regrets that he had to kill Koba and some other apes as well, because they were having a revolt against him, just so he can have some type of peace with humans. One of the first scenes, you kind of see a alpha team come after the apes who are still up in the woods. They're just hiding out, like, not really trying to mess with the humans. They come after the apes, they attack them, and of course they get fucked up and taken down. And you start learning that Koba's old minions, or some people that used to be on his squad, are now working with the humans. Like, their mindset is that if they come back to the apes, that they know they'll be killed, so they might as well work for the humans. And you later find out it's pretty much enslavement. Like, they're doing dishes, they're helping them build this wall, which is okay. So sidebar on that, like, Woody Harrelson plays this, I mean, he plays a great villain. But like, they have him building a wall. He's very, is it xenophobic? Maybe it's I don't know if when it's apes, is it still? Maybe. But whatever. He's only about humans. Like, he's building a wall to keep certain aspects of shit out. Like, it's all this different stuff that they say is not analogous to Donald Trump, because they began like shooting this and making this movie, well, writing this movie before Donald Trump was even running for his presidency. But if that is the case, then Matt Reeves he either can see the future or he just understands the past, because in history, it's always some asshole dictator that's trying to take shit over and uses these same tactics all the time. So probably he just read a couple of histories and just said, fuck it, we're just going to use these crazy motherfuckers in the world, and Woody Harrelson will be great to play one of them. But so the Alpha team gets taken down. We learn that certain apes are still going up against Caesar. Caesar, you get to see his family structure. His wife has had a second child. He already had a child in the last Planet of the Apes film, so we got to meet that son. And you can see that they're trying to get out of the woods now. I think they're in San Francisco still, and they're trying to move off to a desert where they can be away from the humans. It won't have to be a war. Nothing will happen. Everything will be great. So that's currently the Apes' plan. That's what they want to do. Of course, that shit doesn't work out because Woody Harrelson, after Caesar kind of fucks up a little bit because he always wants to show his humanity, which I think is one of his flaws, like not realizing that sometimes in war you got to be a little bit fucked up. Like when the Alpha team initially came to take him down, he let a couple of them go just so the Colonel, who's played by Woody Harrelson, would know that he's not a savage. The apes aren't savages. They can let people go to send a message to say, hey, we're here. We let them go. Like, don't bother us. We won't bother you type shit. Of course, Woody comes back, tries to kill people, ends up killing his son and wife. And now Caesar is out here on a suicide mission to go kill the Colonel himself. Caesar leaves, like he sends his people off to the desert because that's the plan. Like, hey, we're going to send you guys off. You guys will be straight. I'm going to send you off and go on this suicide mission by himself. Of course, like his dude, Maurice, Maurice is one of the apes that is like Caesar's right hand. Like Maurice is like that guy. He comes along with him. Another, you know what? I'm just going to kind of start calling these apes by like their personality traits in the movie. So we have like bodyguard ape that comes along with them, and then we got like little, like I guess like your shooter ape, like he's your shooter. Like you got a bodyguard that's the big dude that's ready to go, but it's also a shooter ape that came with Caesar as well. So you got Maurice the shooter, and then you got the bodyguard. So they went off on their little way to go after the Colonel. They end up running into this farmhouse where I believe it was a farmhouse where they believe that the Colonel might be, or some soldiers might be staying. They end up running into one of the soldiers who's just out there by himself. They kill him, like Caesar has to kill him because the soldier is about to attack the bodyguard ape. And so Caesar takes him out with a shotgun, which, let me tell you something. The CGI, like the visual effects of Caesar holding this shotgun, is they're like going to like door to door to try to make sure that this like little farmhouse area doesn't have any more villains or anything in it, is amazing. Like Caesar just creeping with the shotty in hand. It's just, I gotta figure out who this visual effects like department is, because they are fucking amazing. Like this, like wow. So they take out this guy. It was a great, actually, I like this scene because you can kind of see how like Caesar still, even like the apes overall still had a certain amount of humanity and softness to them. Because in this scene, they meet this little girl who is a mute. So she can't talk at all. She doesn't really, like, she's just scared. Like at the point when the apes come in and find this little girl, you assume that they just killed her dad or they just killed someone she loves, but she doesn't really emote any emotions about it. She doesn't really, well, she can't say anything because she's not talking, but you don't know why or what's wrong with her. And Maurice convinces Caesar to bring the girl along with them. Doesn't really make sense why. I mean, Maurice tries to make an argument of he can't leave the girl there because just his overall moral compass won't let him leave that girl there. But to be honest with you, it was no fucking reason for him to ever say, oh, let's bring this girl along with us. Story-wise, later you find out it was a great reason, but movie-wise, it was very concerning why the hell suddenly they would just bring this girl on a suicide mission where they know they would end up dying. Where they know they might end up dying. Some crazy shit. They finally get closer to like the colonel. They find out that the colonel has shot and killed and left behind some of his soldiers who are also mutes, and you don't know why. Like one of them is like dying from his wounds but can't speak, and you kind of are getting like little breadcrumbs of like what's going on, like why you're wondering why these men can't speak, and also why the colonel is out here just murdering his own soldiers. But little breadcrumbs, little by little, great writing moments in these. And then finally, they randomly run into one of the, like, an outsider ape that they've never really seen before. So this ape is the comic relief ape. I don't even know if he had a name or not, but he was only used for comic relief. He's been out there by himself the whole time. He had I want to call it the Willy Wonka syndrome. Like, you've been by yourself so long that you don't know how to really react around people anymore, or in this instance, apes. So he has no social skills. He can talk, which is a rarity in the Planet of the Apes world. Like, only really Caesar and a few other people can complete full sentences. But this ape can talk, was very funny, very cute. He kind of had a Gollum-ish vibe to him, like a Gollum-ish look to him. But he was dope. Like, I definitely enjoyed this ape. This was the ape that Deray McKisson was saying looked like him because he ended up throwing on a blue vest at some point in the movie, or was supposed to be like him because he threw on the blue vest. But watching the movie, you could tell, like, this was just comedy relief ape. That's all he was there for. He literally just randomly popped up and led them to the next scene and was comic relief throughout because the motherfucker was crazy. So he ended up leading them to where the colonel set up this, I want to call it an internment camp, because like the apes that Caesar had sent off to make to go into the desert to live this wonderful life and to make it to quote unquote home, ended up being captured by Woody Harrelson and his crew. And they're now in an internment camp where it's a lot of allusions to slavery, like they're getting these lashings. They're not being fed. They're only there to help build a wall, which, again, going back to the Donald Trump stuff, you're wondering, like, why are they building this wall? Like, what are they keeping out? And then you get this great but long. It was long as fuck. I want to say it was 20 minutes, but it was probably only 5. But every scene, I will say, every scene in this movie felt super long. Like, they did long shots, long takes. They kind of let the scene play out pacing-wise, just so you can kind of feel the emotion between the characters. Because most of this movie, I mean, not a lot is spoken, especially when it's the apes. It's a lot of sign language and physical cues from Caesar anyway. So a lot of it has to kind of be longer shots so you can kind of connect with what's going on with the characters, so on and so forth. But that just made the movie drag at some point. So you just felt like you were there. I want to say no less than 3 people in the theater I went to see it at were snoring by about 40 minutes into the movie. And not to say that the movie is even bad, because it's a great film, but it's just, you can't be a little bit sleepy going to see this movie because you're not going to fucking make it. It's just not going to be a thing that's going to be in your life much longer. But you find out in this long exposition scene from Woody Harrelson that, so in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, like James Franco mistakenly, when he created Caesar, it mistakenly also made a virus that would like wipe out humanity. And now that virus, like there are a whole bunch of survivors of the virus that hasn't killed them. They found some type of immunity to it, but now the virus is mutated. And what it's doing is it's like a degenerative virus now that is making humans go back to a primitive state mentally. So like when you see the people that are mutes, or they're starting to act like apes a little bit, like the little girl is a mute, and then one of the guys that was killed was acting like he could only really emote like the apes used to emote when they weren't as smart in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which was the first of this series. So now they're going back to this degenerative state, and Woody Harrelson talks about how the disease or the virus affected his child. He had to kill his child himself just to make sure, like his line was pretty much that he had to sacrifice his child to save humanity. And so that was his mindset now as a character. Like, look, I'm out here trying to make sure that humanity survives, and I'm going to do this shit no matter what. And you find out that the wall is only being built because they're trying to make sure they're bunkered down, because it is another army regiment that's in like north of them. So we're guessing it's Canadian. And they disagree with Woody Harrelson. They don't think that you got to kill everything you run into just because they may have this disease or virus. And they think it's a medical way out of this for humanity. And so now they think Woody Harrelson is batshit crazy. So they're coming after him. And he knows he only has a few days to prepare. So he's using these apes to make sure that he can lock everything down, batten down the hatches. And from there, he'll kill the apes and hopefully kill the forces that are coming for him. For Caesar, this isn't going to work. Like, of course, they do the same thing as they do with all the Planet of the Apes movies. It's pretty much the same structure of these movies. Like, they never change it. Like, Caesar doesn't want to fight at first. Something happens. He has to fight. Or he changes his mind and he wants to fight. He gets captured at some point. Somehow he gets released at some point, and then in the end he wins because he's Caesar and he just fucks everybody up. This movie has the same path. It has the same through line. It is great. It is a great allegory to like slavery and civil rights, as it did in the last and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes as well. So this movie is definitely great for that. Again, the visual aspect of the movie was wonderful. The end, I'm not going to give away the end, but it is a tearjerker. Like, I saw some people in my movie crying. Like, it was definitely a tearjerker at the end, especially seeing the apes and like their new home and them like surviving all the madness of the humans, and the humans just kind of fought this war against themselves, which again, why I think this movie should have been called Battle, because it wasn't really a war for... Like, the apes weren't necessarily going against the humans. It was the humans against humans, and it was only really one battle in the movie. So Battle of the Planet of the Apes, I think, would have been a much more interesting title, especially tying back to the older series. Probably the only fault of the movie was the pacing and kind of having the same through line that they had in the other films. Like, this is literally the same exact through line all over again. But overall, man, this movie is definitely dope. So if I had to rate it, like the way we do our rating system here on Black Guy White Movie, if this is your first time listening, so we pretty much rate things of whether or not you would go see it in the movie theaters, whether you would just wait to watch it on Netflix and chill, if you would wait to see it on TNT, which usually takes like 1.5 to 2 years before the movie is on like basic cable like that. So that pretty much means you can just wait altogether for it, or you wouldn't see it at all. So I definitely say for War for the Planet of the Apes, you should definitely go see it in theaters. If you can't really afford to see it opening weekend like I did, or you don't want to pay the full $13 or $16 or wherever you are, it's definitely worth a matinee, just a nice little date night, whatever it is. But it is an amazing movie. I'm happy now that the series is coming to a close. Well, hopefully, because you never really know with Hollywood. But I got to shout out Matt Reeves. He did his thing. Like, this was a great series. It was amazing. I loved it. And I enjoyed myself in this theater. For this movie. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this week. So as always, you guys can follow me at Maxwell Towson on Instagram. YouTube, I think we're going to start a new YouTube page. So let me hold off on YouTube right now. On Facebook, it's always at Black Guy White Movie. You can Gmail us at blackguywhitemovie@gmail.com. I know what I forgot. So I forgot to give the movie of the week. So I think this week, what did I watch? I know what I watched. So one of my favorite films is the reason that Ray Allen is going to be my favorite basketball player forever. And now, since he's retired, I don't have a team. But anyway, so the movie He Got Game, it's a Spike Lee movie. It came out, I want to say, in 1996? No, in 1998, because it was when Ray first got into the league. So in 1998, definitely a dope film, one of Spike Lee's better films. Let me look it up real quick, see what kind of ratings it got. Because it's probably... Oh, that's kind of crazy. So IMDb has it at a 6.9 right now. See, that's why people can't have good things. Because y'all don't understand how great this goddamn movie is. Like, Jesus and Jake Shuttlesworth are easily the best fictional basketball players ever. Besides Shaq from Blue Chips. And maybe Jimmy Chitwood. Jimmy Chitwood is the best shooter we've ever seen in life. Easily. From Hoosiers, Jimmy Chitwood is not to be fucked with. But yeah, definitely check out He Got Game. IMDb is not giving it that great of a rating, but check it out for yourself. Rotten Tomatoes hypes it up, so they know good things sometimes. But He Got Game, Spike Lee's film, that'll be the pick of the week. Anything else? No, I think that's all we got. So as always, RIP Alex, and we will see you guys next week.
Tom Fondle.